Meet our story's hero, Ichiji Takuya, a high schooler who also works part-time at a convenience store. One thing that really unnerves him is his classmate Sagusa Shion's excessiveness, because she is just a little too talented. But that's not even the surprising part for him. What really stuns him is that Sagusa-san was once a member of a national idol group called Angel Girls. She left the spotlight to focus on her studies, and now she's in his class. In the present, Takuya notices Sagusa-san acting weird in front of him at the convenience store. He has no idea why she's pulling off these dramatic antics, or what they even mean. He recently recalls the last time she came to his convenience store. She hurriedly handed him the cash, took her change, and left without saying a word. He finds her behavior seriously weird. The next day, he lies face down on his desk when a friend greets him with a good morning and asks what's up. Takuya replies he's saving energy for his evening overtime shift. He claims it's energy-saving mode, but really it's emotional buffering. His friend sympathizes, and Takuya knows this guy is different. Handsome, soon-to-be captain of the basketball team, and nothing like him. His friend starts giving Takuya a shoulder massage when suddenly she enters the class, cheerfully greeting everyone with a good morning. Takuya watches, thinking how everyone sees her as this perfect idol, so of course they all eagerly return her greetings. Meanwhile, he feels like a side character in her live concert, but he isn't surprised, he's confused. He still wants to know why Shion acts so differently at the store. Rushes in, packs her stuff, pays, grabs the change, and bolts, without a word. Yet in class, she's all smiles and sunshine. He just can't figure her out. Just then, the teacher walks in and announces that, with the new school year starting, the class seating arrangement will change. Everyone suddenly wants to sit with Sagusa-san, but Takuya wonders, who does she want to sit with? As he glances at her, she slips into that same weird mode she has at the convenience store. And just like that, it's settled. Takuya and Shion end up seated together, something neither of them expected. She blushes hard while Takuya notices his classmate Takayuki now sitting in front of them. Takuya's soul quietly leaves his body and files a complaint to Destiny. Takayuki suggests they should all help each other out. Takuya freezes, uncertain how to even begin a conversation with Shion. Before he can gather a single word, Takayuki steps in, introducing himself with his usual calm confidence. Takuya watches, impressed, and maybe a little envious. Just as Takayuki turns to bring him into the conversation, Shion speaks up saying she already knows who he is. He feels surprised and secretly happy that she remembers him. But what confuses him more is how much she's blushing after saying it. Then Takayuki turns to Takuya, telling him that once he replaces his broken phone, he should share his line ID again so he can save it. Shion's cheeks turn even redder as she catches a glimpse of both of them swapping IDs. And just as fate would have it, the teacher declares the end of the test and instructs everyone to swap papers with their neighbor for grading. Takuya suddenly feels a wave of nerves as he realizes he's clutching Sagusa-san's test in his hands. He checks her exam. She's done great with neat handwriting, so he gives her a full 10 out of 10. But when he sees her holding his paper, she looks oddly happy, and he doesn't know why. But after seeing his low grade, he's worried the job might be interfering with his studies. Then he notices something strange. Shion has written some kind of code on his answer sheet. Basically, it is her social media username. He can't understand why she'd do that. Takuya wonders if this is a code, or a flirt disguised as Morse. A glance at Shion shows she's back in her weird phase again. So he decides to just focus on class for now. Suddenly, she looks straight at Takuya, and her expression catches him off guard. He can't tell what emotion she's showing or why. Just then, the lunch break starts, and Takuya and Takayuki sit together to eat. But they feel awkward with Sagusa-san's fans crowding the seat beside them. She soon clasps her hands and politely apologizes to her fans, wanting them to leave. Because she wants to eat lunch, but internally muses that she's worked hard to secure this seat and won't let anything go wrong. After the crowd clears, both boys feel that there's no need to move elsewhere. Takayuki then asks Takuya if he watched Esilab. He replies he didn't because of his job, but he knows it's a music show that's really popular among young guys these days. And Sagusa-san once appeared on it too. Takuya remembers seeing Sagusa-san on the show. She was cute even back then. Now, it feels surreal that the same girl is sitting next to him eating lunch. Just then, Takayuki mentions that DDG was also invited yesterday, but Takuya is completely out of the loop. Takayuki explains that DDG is a new popular girl group, mainly because their vocalist is super cute. When he shows a picture, Takuya blurts, "She's really cute." At that, Sagusa-san suddenly slips from her seat. Gravity joins the drama club just for her. Takuya, startled, wonders if she's okay while Takayuki keeps talking about the group. He says the vocalist looks their age but is incredibly popular. Letting Takuya listen through his headphones, Takayuki watches him nod along. Takuya casually says he might fall for her if they ever met, prompting another silent shock from Sagusa-san behind them. They both watch as she trembles and slips right off her seat, leaving them stunned. What just happened to her? After school, Takuya quickly packs his bag to rush to his part-time job, and just then, another classmate steps in to take his place. Nijima Kengo, known in class as the Lady Killer. He walks in and casually asks if anyone wants to join him for karaoke. All the girls jump at the chance, and even beg Saigusa-san to come along with them. Takuya knows Nijima and his group planned this just to hear a song from Saigusa-san, the former Angel Girls member. They all request her to sing, and Saigusa-san agrees. But suddenly, Saigusa notices something. Still undecided about joining them, Saigusa-san overhears Takayuki telling Takuya he can't join the karaoke class because of work. But deep down, Takuya really wants to hear her sing. Flustered by Takuya's words, Saigusa-san pouts and blushes, then quickly excuses herself, claiming she forgot about her homework. Nijima and his group are clearly disappointed. As Takuya leaves focused on getting to work, he recalls Sagusa-san's face. How did she puff her cheeks like that while talking? Curious, he tries puffing his own cheeks slightly, but it feels weird. He decides he'll ask her about it next time. He looks like a confused goldfish trying to flirt. He quickly arrives at the store and takes his place at the counter. To his surprise, Sagusa-san walks in again, slipping right back into her weird state. He watches closely, curious to see what she'll buy this time. He notices Sagusa-san pick up a magazine, holding it upside down, while sneaking side glances at him with a tilted stare. He's confused why she's even looking his way. What stuns him more is that the magazine is her own biography, so why is she reading it like she's curious about herself? He silently questions if she's trying to read spoilers about her own life. Thinking back to class, he wonders if Sagusa-san has an issue with him. Suddenly, she starts grabbing items quickly, and Takuya realizes it's time to ring her up. Before he can say the total, Sagusa-san hands him a 1,000 yen note. When he gives her the change, she grabs it with both hands. Takuya is stunned. Then, out of nowhere, she panics and blurts out, asking if he hates karaoke. Takuya calmly replies that he actually enjoys it. Internally, he's buffering like a slow Wi-Fi connection and likes hearing people sing, though he doesn't say he means her. Hearing this, she lights up and begins to blush with joy. She quietly says thanks, then quickly runs off. Watching her go, Takuya thinks he still doesn't understand her weird moods, but he's glad she left with a smile today. Monday comes, and Takuya heads to school earlier than usual. To his surprise, Sagusa-san is already there, reading, though she usually shows up right at the bell. Realizing he can't pass silently, he says, "Good morning." At his voice, she panics, and the book flies from her hands. The book hits Sagusa-san's face mid-air and falls to the ground. A romantic greeting, sponsored by Newton's laws. Seeing her in that situation, Takuya quickly apologized for disturbing her while she was reading. She replies that she's fine, but secretly blushing. He catches a glimpse of the book's title and wonders, why would Sagusa-san, an idol, be reading something like How to Be More Charming? He didn't know idols needed a manual for being adorable. Just then, his friend Takayuki shows up, clearly happy to see him. With a grin, Takayuki tells Takuya he's got a surprise. Suddenly, Takayuki reveals he has live tickets to the DDG group's concert, thanks to a connection through his father. Takuya immediately responds that he has to go just because he wants to meet that famous vocalist, Yu-chan. Hearing this, she slams her hands down on the desk. Takuya wonders if this is jealousy or early symptoms of anime rage. Suddenly, she stands up and stares off into space, lost in thought. Takuya and Takayuki have no idea what she's doing. Then she abruptly apologizes and runs off. She mutters to herself that she'll never lose to Yu-chan. From that day on, her behavior and attitude grew even stranger. And now, it's a showdown between Sagusa-san and her rival, DDG's top vocalist Yu-chan. On the other side, after school, Takuya and Takayuki see a DDG singing booth set up. They're performing there tomorrow. Nearby, Takuya also notices an Angel Girls booth and thinks, even after Sagusa-san's retirement, the group still seems to be getting more popular. Her merch is being sold at high prices at the booth, shocking Takuya. A nearby cashier asks if he's also a fan of Shion, and Takuya realizes that's what they affectionately call Sagusa-san. When he asks why everything's so expensive, the cashier explains the reason. After Sagusa-san left, her merch sold out fast. The remaining items became expensive due to fan demand. Takuya thinks this guy talks way too loud, as he's not a cashier. He's a human megaphone with receipts. When suddenly they hear Sagusa-san's voice. She calmly says it's been a while since she left Angel Girls. Everyone is shocked and thrilled to see Shion there. They wonder how she just showed up like that. Saigusa-san explains she's only there to buy a glow stick for DDG's live performance. Takuya finds her calm behavior surprisingly nice. It's the first time she's spoken to him so mildly. Then she picks up an Angel Girls t-shirt, and though the cashier refuses to take money, she insists and pays for it anyway. She quickly signs the t-shirt and hands it to Takuya, saying it's for him, then runs off. Everyone around is stunned by what they just witnessed. The cashier is so overwhelmed with joy that he starts crying, thrilled that Saigusa-san actually came to him. Some fans start Googling how to become a cashier overnight. That night, sitting at home with the t-shirt in hand, Takuya wonders why Saigusa-san gave it to him. He decides he'll talk to her about it first thing in the morning. But then, a thought strikes him. He's just noticed something. He realizes she bought the t-shirt with exact change, something she never does at the store. He feels personally attacked. Was her chaos just an exclusive store performance? The next day, he's shocked by the huge crowd at the concert, not expecting it to be this packed. He feels thrilled. The concert atmosphere is amazing and gives him a special kind of excitement. He realizes he's dressed like he's here for groceries, not greatness. He's never been to a live concert before, and it shows. Suddenly, the lights go off, and he sees the performers stepping onto the stage. Suddenly, all stage lights focus on DDG's special vocalist, Yu-chan. She steps forward, thanks the crowd, and announces it's time to start the concert. The group begins their performance, and the atmosphere turns electric. Everyone's energized and fully enjoying the moment. Takuya and Takayuki are both stunned and overjoyed. Takayuki turns to Takuya and says he's about to cry. He quietly considers charging him for tissues. In his awe, he believes he came to see the concert star, Yu-chan. But everyone here seems amazing. Just then, Yu-chan announces they have a special guest, leaving the entire crowd stunned. Angel Girls' theme song starts playing. Takuya recognizes it instantly. Yu-chan then announces she's welcoming the Angel Girls to the stage. The crowd is stunned. No one saw this coming. From behind, Saigusa-san calls out to Takuya, saying she's happy everyone's gathered here today. He looks at her, thinking she looks different, far from the girl he knows from school and the convenience store. Today, she truly stands out. Saigusa-san's former team spots her standing in the crowd. They recognize her instantly. She realizes she's been seen, and the crowd erupts in cheers. Yu-chan thanks everyone warmly, and soon both groups, Angel Girls and DDG, begin cheering for each other, lifting the whole atmosphere even higher. The Angel Girls team leader steps forward and draws everyone's attention. She announces they'll perform a new song tonight, one she personally took charge of. But, she adds, she wants someone on stage who truly understands this song. Then, smiling warmly, she gestures towards Saigusa-san and lovingly calls out to her as Shirin, inviting her to join them on stage and perform. Saigusa-san nervously whispers to Takuya that she retired long ago. He asks if she's not going to perform. Blushing, she looks at him and simply states he should listen to the song all the way to the end, then walks toward the stage. As she steps onto the platform, the entire crowd erupts, chanting her name, cheering in disbelief that Shion is really here. Overwhelmed, she waves and greets everyone warmly. Even the glow sticks look like they're fangirling. Playfully, she tells Yu-chan that it was supposed to be her show tonight, but she ended up stealing all the attention. Yu-chan smiles and replies that she's just doing the right thing. She and Shirin are full of energy. Shirin playfully challenges her, determined not to lose. Yu-chan, slightly confused but unfazed, decides to go all out anyway. It's like being challenged to a dance-off by your dentist. Just then, the Angel Girls team reminds Shirin that it's DDG's performance day, so they need to wrap up the song quickly. She nods, ready. Grabbing everyone's attention, she begins performing her best song with full energy. After hearing the song, the crowd erupts with joy. Takuya realizes it's the same song Shion released just after her retirement. Watching her perform it live fills him with happiness. Witnessing such a beautiful performance, Takuya and his friend talk about it, wondering why Saigusa-san ever stopped being an idol. To them, she was born to be one, and should have stayed that way forever. After the performance ends, the Angel Girls thank everyone and announce that DDG will close the show. By evening, Takuya heads to his part-time job and sees Saigusa-san walk in, heavily disguised, but he recognizes her as always. He blushes thinking about Saigusa-san's performance. While handing her change, she notices a rubber band on his wrist with Shirin's name. He mentions it's his favorite singer and asks if she knows her. She freezes, blushes, thanks him, and quickly runs off. Takuya, watching her go, thinks she seems oddly familiar and cute like this. Meanwhile, she runs away, replaying Takuya's words in her head. Her brain starts buffering in full HD blush mode. After DDG's performance, Segusa-san is trending on social media. Everyone's talking about Shurin's return. Even in class, she's surrounded by excited classmates who praise her, thrilled to have seen her live. They eagerly invite her to the karaoke as well. Takuya internally muses that can't even reach his seat with so many people crowding around Segusa-san. She simply utters one sentence. She's tired and will talk later. Instantly, everyone clears out. He mentally notes, she doesn't need bodyguards. She needs subtitles and a mic drop. He is amazed by her one-sentence superpower. Saigusa-san then looks at him and says, "Good morning." Takuya silently reflects that Saigusa-san's performance revived the image of the super idol she used to be. She thanks him for coming to the concert, and he replies that he truly listened, and that her performance outshone even Yu-chan's. She smiles, thanks him, and then asks about the wristband. Takuya is stunned. She mentioned the convenience store moment. He thinks back to how lately she forgets about her disguised mode. Takuya reflects on how different Saigusa-san is on stage compared to in the classroom, and he smiles to himself. She notices and panics, assuming he's laughing at her. Later at lunch, Takayuki mentions that her appearance on Saturday completely caught him off guard. As they chat, Segusa-san joins in and asks how they felt about her stage performance. Both say it was amazing. Then she separately asks Ichiju-kun again how he felt. He's surprised he already answered, but if she wants more praise, he decides to speak from the heart. Loudly and confidently, he tells her she looked really cute. Her performance was incredible, and the DDG girls didn't even compare. As he goes on, he ends up praising her even more than he intended. Hearing all that, Saigusa-san grows nervous and starts sweating. He notices her trembling and wonders what changed in her expression. Thinking he may have said too much, he watches as Saigusa-san quickly stands, writes something on a slip, and hands it to him, telling him to open it only after reaching home. Blushing deeply, she runs off. He stares at the slip like it's a scroll from Hogwarts. Seeing Segusa-san run off, both boys decide to drop the topic. Later at home, Takuya sits on his bed and opens the slip. He notices the same characters she once wrote on his test paper. Then his eyes catch the word line written below. He instantly realizes it's her line ID. Just as he's about to send a request to add her, he suddenly stops. He panics, wondering what he's even doing. Filled with questions, he keeps asking himself why she gave him her line ID. He's one doubt away from opening a Reddit thread about it. After a long 30-minute overthinking session, he finally concludes. It's just a friend request, so he should just send one, normally. Takuya panics hard. He has no idea what to say to her. He knows he has to send a message, but types and deletes several drafts. After much hesitation, he finally settles on one message he feels okay with, and prepares to hit send. But before he can send his message, she accepts the friend request and messages him first. His fingers freeze like he just touched a USB port with the wrong vibe. Takuya panics again, quickly replying. Their conversation begins and he tries asking why she gave him her line ID, though he still can't bring himself to actually hit send on that question. After sending what he thought was just a casual message to check if Saigusa-san needed something important, Takuya receives her reply almost instantly. Was this a bad idea? Reading it, he falls silent, unsure what exactly she means by that. Takuya wonders if he's overthinking. If Segusa-san just wants to be friends, then it's simple. Her next message confirms it. She only wants to be a good friend. Surprised, he replies with thanks and says he'll cherish the friendship. After that, no reply comes. Takuya worries his last message might have pushed her away. The next day, he arrives at school early, thinking no one else would be there. But as he enters the classroom, he sees Saigusa-san already seated. He walks over and says good morning. The moment she hears him, she panics. He notices she has slipped into her usual weird morning mood, hesitantly replying with a soft, good morning. He approaches and thanks her for accepting his friend request, then asks if they should keep it a secret from the class. Saigusa-san nods, saying she hasn't added anyone else. That makes Takuya wonder, why did she choose only him? Takuya wonders if she might like him, but she quickly apologizes for not replying last night. She'd gone for a bath and fallen asleep. He says it's fine, but Saigusa-san insists it's not for her, because she wants to talk to him. Takuya's brain glitches. Did he just get prioritized over shampoo? She promises to message him again that night. Just then, her fans crowd around, and he quietly steps aside. Takuya concludes that seeing Saigusa-san smile, it doesn't feel like she just wants a normal conversation. And just then, lunch break happens, and Takuya's friend tells him that a Maid cafe has opened near the station, and they should visit it. Takuya also agrees to go with him. After hearing everything, Saigusa-san suddenly stands up, surprising Takuya, who asks if she's okay. She says yes, but then casually asks if he likes maid cafes. That's when Takuya realizes she overheard them. He feels like he just got caught by his crush mid-Google search. As Sagusa-san keeps questioning him about maids, he starts to feel pretty embarrassed. She smiles brightly after hearing Takuya's response, but he can sense there's something scary behind that smile. His friend then tells him they should definitely visit the maid cafe after school, and sure enough, after school, the two of them step into the cafe together. As soon as they enter the maid cafe, they're greeted by a group of maids dressed up perfectly, all calling them master and welcoming them with cheerful smiles. They eat a lot of good food inside the cafe, take pictures with the maids, and even watch their performances. On their way back, they both feel surprisingly happy, like they've truly grown up a little. Later that night, as Takuya lies on his bed trying to fall asleep, a message from Sagusa-san suddenly pops up. She casually asks Takuya how he liked the maid cafe, then suddenly follows up. Does he really like maids? He gets confused, wondering why she's acting like a jealous girlfriend when they're not even in a relationship. Just then, she sends him a photo. Takuya opens it and panics. It's from her concert, where she's wearing a maid outfit. He almost drops his phone like it just became illegal to own. She asks how it looks, saying she tried the dress herself. Flustered, he quickly replies that it's wonderful. In reality, he likes the picture so much that, in his panic, he ends up saving it 3 times without even realizing. A week later, an announcement is made in class. Group selection for the field trip will begin soon. The trip involves hiking and an open-air lunch. Everyone tries to join Sagusa-san's group, but she politely excuses them, saying she already has a group in mind. She calls Shimizu's name, and the girl walks over to stand beside her. The rest of the class collectively experiences emotional rejection in 4K. According to Takuya, Shimizu is the most beautiful girl in school after Sagusa-san. The two share a strong bond. The problem is, no one adds Takayuki or Takuya, since each group needs 2 boys and 2 girls. Sagusa-san, standing nearby, understands this. Takuya hesitates, unsure whether to join her group. He decides to ask her. As he approaches to speak, she cuts him off with a confident, "You're in." Sagusa-san then tells him to take good care of her. Just like that, the 4 of them form a group. He mentally apologizes to the rest of the class. The day of the field trip finally arrives. As soon as Takuya boards the vehicle, he sees that due to the group surrounding Sagusa-san, that he can't manage to sit. Just then, Shimizu, sitting nearby, calls out to him and says, "Good morning." Takuya looks at Shimizu and asks if he can sit with her. She agrees, and they sit together. But suddenly, he realizes he's sitting next to a girl, and panics. Embarrassment hits him hard. His brain crashes like it just walked into a live-action romantic comedy scene. Shimizu gently grabs his t-shirt and tells him it's okay. There's no need to be so nervous. Meanwhile, Sagusa-san sees it all, panics, and quickly tells her fans to clear the crowd so that Shimizu and Takuya can return to their original seats. After the crowd clears, Sagusa-san apologizes to both of them and asks them to return to their original seats. Just then, Takayuki finally arrives, clearly late because he overslept again. Takayuki, sweating from the heat, somehow looks incredibly charming to Takuya. He silently wonders if Takayuki uses cologne or just natural plot armor. When Takuya turns slightly to check from behind his shades, he notices Shimizu also glancing at Takayuki, blushing. Behind her, Sagusa-san watches them both with a strange, unreadable stare. Takuya suspects maybe she is also interested in Takayuki. That's why she's giving such a strange stare. What he doesn't realize is that her thoughts are all about him. Still, he comes up with a simple fix. He'll just smile and wave at Sagusa-san. And that's exactly what he does. Seeing him, she smiles back, then gets embarrassed, and starts waving too. Takuya feels she finally looks happy again, like she's out of her weird mood. And just like that, their journey begins. As the hike begins, Takayuki walks up to Shimizu and asks if she likes books. She asks why, and he replies that he's noticed she often reads in class. Maybe she can recommend something. Shimizu blushes, impressed. Takuya, watching, feels he lacks the confidence his friend has. Suddenly, Sagusa-san starts walking beside him. He doesn't even notice when she got there. She chats about the nice weather and how great the trees look, and to everything, Takuya just replies, "Yeah, you're right." He feels trapped in a nervous situation, unable to properly respond. He decides he'll talk to her properly next, but when he turns to her, she's blushing with her cheeks puffed up like a hamster. He panics, unsure what to do, briefly considering whether he should offer her a sunflower seed. Noticing her expression, Shimizu and Takayuki approach Takuya, asking what he said. Worried it might be misunderstood, Takayuki suddenly grabs Sagusa-san's hand and takes off, hoping to get her away from the crowd. But midway, he realizes dragging a girl like this might be dangerous. He stops at once and apologizes. When he turns to look at Sagusa-san, she's flushing deeply. Before he can do any explaining, she gives him a look and suggests they keep moving. He wonders if maybe she's not as mad anymore. However, she quickly reminds him that she can still get pretty steamed if he doesn't communicate properly. Reluctantly, he agrees and the two start chatting away. In the back of his mind, Takuya considers how they have until 1:30 to roam around and grab some lunch. He decides he wants to take her away to a more cozy spot, far from the prying eyes that come with her fame. He just wants her to have a break from all the attention. He and Takayuki quickly plan something. Suddenly, Takuya grabs Sagusa-san's hand and tells her they need a little slow running. He takes her along, and Sagusa-san, blushing from the touch, is too flustered to understand what he's doing. Takuya doesn't know if this is a getaway or an unintentional proposal. In front of everyone, he runs off with her, while Shimizu and Takayuki follow behind. Jogging alongside Takuya, she can't help but notice how great she feels, despite her cheeks constantly turning pink. He brings her to a quiet spot and tells her no one will disturb them here. Sagusa-san, still catching her breath, says she was completely surprised by the sudden running. Now all of them settle there, enjoying the sand and starting their lunch. Shimizu tells them she hopes they've saved some room, because she made sandwiches for everyone. After eating the sandwiches, both Takuya and Takayuki praise them, saying they've never had anything like them before. At that, Sagusa-san's expression shifts, as if she's just witnessed a genie pop out of a lunchbox. Takuya wonders what's behind that look. It's the face of someone whose emotional support meatballs are suddenly under threat. Still holding her homemade meatballs, Sagusa-san quietly hopes Takuya will try them. He then thinks he should offer her a taste of the omelet he made himself. When he tells her he'll give her one in return, she lights up with joy, and he feels a wave of relief, thinking she's finally returned to her usual self. He's glad to see her relaxed after lunch, sitting quietly by his side. After eating, Takayuki asks Takuya if he's free from work today. Maybe they can go to karaoke. Takuya gladly agrees. When he asks Sagusa-san, she simply replies that she just broke a branch in her hand. Takuya wonders why she gave such a random answer. He's not sure if it's a metaphor or a nature-based protest. Shimizu then mentions she's never been to a karaoke. Takayuki invites her to come along too, which makes Shimizu both happy and nervous. It'll be her first time. Takuya stands still, noticing something in Sagusa-san's face, a childlike hopefulness, clearly wanting to join but too shy to say so. Before he can ask, she blurts out that she'd love to come, surprising him with her enthusiasm. To test her resolve, Takuya jokingly challenges her to sing her Maid theme song. He's curious, especially after she sent him a Maid-themed photo. He assures her there's no pressure, but she confidently agrees without hesitation. Blushing, she declares she'll sing it for him. After all, she was once an idol. And so, the field trip winds down by evening. Nijima casually asks if anyone wants to hang out since there are no club activities. All the girls around eagerly agree. He then turns to Sagusa-san and asks if she wants to come too. She replies with a polite sorry. She already has a plan. Everyone's surprised, wondering what kind of plan she could have. But she just says that and quickly walks off, rejecting them all. But then, in the line group the four of them made together, Sagusa-san messages that she's on her way so they can head to karaoke. Everyone gets ready while Takuya feels nervous. It's his first time chatting in a group like this, and he doesn't even know what sticker to send. He scrolls past 27 stickers, panics, and ends up sending a thumbs up. Universally boring, but safe. Everyone arrives at the karaoke room, wishing each other a fun time. Shimizu quietly thanks them, stating she normally doesn't enjoy crowded places and appreciates this. As they look toward the ceiling, they spot a mirror ball. Someone picks up the nearby remote and switches it on. Instantly, colorful lights spread across the room. Everyone is surprised and the place suddenly feels like a disco. The mirror ball starts spinning like it's auditioning for a 2002 dance video. Just then, Saigusa-san steps forward and grabs the mic, saying she wants to sing now. Takuya is surprised. He had only heard her sing in DDGs live before. Hearing her here in a karaoke room feels unexpectedly luxurious. He remembers she had already told him she'd sing her Maid theme song. He claps so hard his hands briefly forget they're made of skin. Sagusa-san looks at him and says she's performing this song just for him. She starts singing, and in the karaoke room, Takayuki and the rest of their friends cheer her on, chanting her name again and again. Everyone is clearly enjoying her performance. The song ends after a while, and everyone enjoys it thoroughly. She was amazing. Just then, Takayuki decides it's his turn to sing. As Takuya watches him, he suddenly notices Saigusa-san has come and sat beside him, so quietly he didn't even realize. She materialized beside him like a stealthy Pokemon, level 100 in surprise. She asks how he liked her song. Takuya replies that it was great, then adds that back in middle school he used to download that very song and listen to it on loop. She is genuinely surprised to hear that. She looks at him like she just found out he was her top Spotify listener in 2018. Takuya tells Saigusa-san he's really happy she sang that song just for him, but then teases that it would have been even better if she'd worn her maid outfit while singing. She panics and quickly promises to do it next time, but Takuya laughs, saying he was only joking. As Takayuki's song ends and everyone cheers, the spotlight shifts to Takuya. They all urge him to sing. He hesitates, thinking he hasn't even listened to music properly in ages. What is he supposed to sing? But then he looks at Saigusa-san sitting right in front of him and decides he has to give it his best. He opens his mouth to sing, and for a second, his soul nearly escapes his body. Stage fright is very real, but he slowly starts performing his song, and Saigusa-san looks genuinely surprised. Takayuki and Shimizu are also enjoying it, but Takuya notices that as long as Saigusa-san keeps watching him like that, singing feels 10 times harder. Still, he finishes the song, and everyone cheers. She looks as happy as if she's just seen her favorite idol perform. Takayuki starts to ask if something's going on between them, but cuts himself off mid-sentence. Unusual for him, Takuya notes. When Takuya returns, Saigusa-san shows him her phone. She downloaded his song. He's quietly thrilled that someone appreciated it that much. Now it's Shimizu's turn. Unsure what to sing, she takes Takayuki's suggestion and decides on a song from Angel Girls. She asks Shion-chan if she'll sing the duet with her. She smiles and says, "Of course," and the two begin singing and dancing in sync. Watching them, the boys are overwhelmed with joy. They lean toward each other and whisper that it feels like they've ascended to heaven, like they're seeing two angels on stage. After the performance, the boys are still basking in happiness, almost unable to believe it wasn't a dream. The moment leaves them floating, full of lightness and joy. Later that night, Takuya lies on his bed, replaying everything in his head with a smile. Just then, he gets a message from Saigusa-san, thanking him for the fun they had today. He sees the rest of the group chatting too, each one saying how much they enjoyed the night. Wanting to join in, Takuya starts typing a reply, but just as his fingers hover over the screen, his phone suddenly starts buzzing. Thinking it's an alarm, he scrambles to silence it. Then he hears Saigusa-san's voice through the speaker. Takuya arrives outside the cafe right on time, wondering if he's late. After waiting a bit, he decides to go inside and wait there. But as he enters, he sees Saigusa-san already sitting ahead, waiting for him. She looks especially charming today. He is stunned. He never imagined her aura would feel almost this unreal. When she looks his way, he freezes, thinking she's noticed him. She waves at him with both hands, smiling, but in the process, spills some juice from the glass she's holding. It's a smile and splash combo, refreshing but slightly dangerous. Takuya asks if she waited long. She replies she just got there. He's struck by how charming she looks with light makeup. When she asks how she looks, he nervously tells her she's really cute. Blushing, she turns away and tells him to relax. They've got plenty of time. Takuya, overwhelmed, decides to change the topic before he gets too flustered. He changes the topic so hard, it nearly shifts to a different genre. He notices her staring at him, but jolts up when he calls her. She takes out a gift, asking him to wear it today. Seeing the bracelet, he remembers his horoscope. It said a black bracelet from the opposite gender would be his lucky item today. He's surprised, especially by how different Saigusa-san seems today. She then tells him there's a store an hour from the city she wants to visit. Takuya feels lucky to be on a rare date with Saigusa-san. He smiles, recalling how happy she looked when he let her keep the change at the store. She notices and asks. He simply replies that he remembered something funny. Saigusa-san says she thought Takuya smiled because he noticed her racing heart. He's unsure what she means, when suddenly a group at a nearby table begins whispering. Someone thinks they've recognized her. Isn't that their favorite singer, Shion? A few argue it's just someone who looks like her. Alarmed, Takuya immediately feels the need to protect her identity. Just then, a message pops up from Saigusa-san. From now on, he should call her Shi-chan. He stares at it like it's a cursed scroll, then cautiously types out Shi-chan, as if the name might bite. Takuya hopes that using the new name will help keep her from being recognized. He also notices from her curious look that she wants him to say it. So he calls her Shi-chan. Hearing him call her Shi-chan, she instantly freezes, deeply embarrassed. As they leave the cafe together, Takuya tells her he's fine going anywhere she wants. She thanks him again, flustered, then suddenly turns red, waves her hands wildly, and runs off in embarrassment. She takes Takuya into a store, and he's surprised by how unique it is inside. Still embarrassed, she nervously shakes the owner's hand a little too hard. When the owner casually asks if Takuya is her boyfriend, she suddenly panics and blurts out that they're just classmates. The store owner shakes Takuya's hand, says it's nice meeting him, and suddenly hands him some men's clothes to try on. Takuya, who thought he was just here to hang out with Saigusa-san, is completely caught off guard. As he steps out in the new clothes, both the store owner and Saigusa-san are visibly surprised. They think he looks great. He feels like a prince. Internally, he's one ripped price tag away from fleeing. But seeing their shocked reactions, Takuya gets nervous, wondering if he looks weird. The store owner tells Takuya he looks amazing in the outfit, which makes him genuinely happy. Then, patting Saigusa-san's back, the owner nudges her to say something too. Hesitantly, she tells Takuya he looks really good, and hearing that, he starts to blush. Takuya decides he might as well buy the outfit, and the store owner throws in a discount, courtesy of Saigusa-san. Blushing, Takuya admits he originally came to shop for her, but somehow ended up shopping for himself instead. Meanwhile, she hurries into the fitting room, slips into a stunning outfit, steps out, and asks how she looks. Takuya's brain crashes for a full 2 seconds. All systems. Saigusa-san.exe. He manages to tell her she looks better than anyone else. Her face lights up, and she says she'll take it. In that moment, he thinks she looks just like a princess straight out of a movie. They leave the store together, shopping bags in hand. As they walk, their conversation drifts back to the store owner. Saigusa-san mentions he used to be the stylist for angel girls and praises how kind he is. Takuya senses she's enjoying their time together. It's starting to feel like a real date. When she brings up food, they head to a restaurant her former group used to frequent. Once seated, he looks around, guessing the place must be popular with celebrities. They skim through the menu, settle on their orders, and share a quiet moment as they wait. She thanks him for today, and Takuya feels glad. He's really enjoyed spending time with her. Hearing his words, Saigusa-san lights up and asks if he'd join her again sometime. Takuya nods without hesitation. Of course he would. Seeing her that happy, he realizes it's not her idol status or beauty that draws him in. It's simply being with her. He reflects on just how much he enjoys her presence, even if he still struggles to put those feelings into words. Hesitantly, he tells her he'd love to go out with her again. It's fun, and he really likes it. Hearing this, she suddenly goes quiet. Seeing her frozen with a blank expression, Takuya is confused. This is a new kind of reaction from her. When he calls her name again, she snaps out of it and quickly apologizes. As the waitress brings their food, they start eating and praise the meal. Suddenly, she comments that it feels unfair. Because he calls her Shi-chan, she still uses his last name. From now on, she'll call him Tak-kun, a name she came up with. Then, smiling, she says, "Nice to meet you, Tak-kun." Hearing this, he feels deeply embarrassed. It seems to him that Saigusa-san is playfully teasing him with the nickname. He tells her he doesn't mind being called Tak-kun, but every time she repeats it, he grows even more flustered. As they step out of the theater, both feel thrilled after seeing the current leader of Angel Girls in the lead role. Inside, Saigusa-san takes off her glasses, and he tells her that without them, he can see her beautiful face even more clearly. She panics like he just saw her browser history. Hearing that, Saigusa-san suddenly panics, flustered by the compliment. Takuya, noticing her reaction, tells her to focus on the movie instead. She nods and turns to the screen, but in her heart, she wishes she could keep talking to Ichijo-kun the whole time. They start watching the movie and get drawn into the characters. The heroine, after graduating, transfers to another school, leaving the hero behind, something both Takuya and Saigusa-san observe closely and silently reflect on. She gets visibly emotional during the story, while Takuya wonders if, like the movie's heroine, Saigusa-san will also leave him someday. But before he can ask, she turns to him and softly asks the same question. Takuya is surprised Saigusa-san was thinking the same thing. He reassures her that he has no intention of leaving the school. At that, she smiles and quietly mumbles that she gave up being an idol just to stay here. Takuya doesn't fully grasp what she means, but then she grabs his hand and urges him to hurry. They're running late. As they take off, hand in hand, he finds himself thinking about how much he's enjoyed their time together. Almost without realizing it, he gives her hand a gentle squeeze and blurts out that he had a great time and that he'd love to do it again. And Saigusa-san assures him, yes, definitely. She had a lot of fun too. She promises they'll hang out again. The next day inside the convenience store, Takuya notices Saigusa-san has arrived in her disguise. He welcomes her, but she gives no reply and quietly starts shopping, pretending he's not there. She walks over and picks up a magazine, pretending to read it. But her eyes stay on Takuya. Suddenly, she puts it back and walks straight to him. Either she's into photography or she just panicked and grabbed the wrong magazine. She hands him a 1,000 yen note without even waiting to hear the total. As she reaches out and clasps both his hands to take the change, she suddenly freezes, her eyes fixed on the bracelet around his wrist. For a brief moment, Takuya wonders if this is how a romance story begins, or how a lawsuit does. Takuya, staying in character, asks politely, "Miss, would you mind letting go of my hands?" She panics and rushes out of the store, muttering a quick sorry. Takuya wonders how different she acts here compared to school. The next day, when Takayuki asks why he's late to school, Takuya simply says he stayed up late gaming. In the middle of their chat, his eyes suddenly fall on Sagusa-san. She's sitting quietly, looking surprised and distant. He realizes he got too caught up talking to Takayuki and forgot about her, so he quickly turns to her and wishes her good morning. Hearing that, she puffs her cheeks in anger, and now Takuya has no idea how to handle the situation. Her cheeks look like she's storing acorns for winter. Then he hears muttering, "Shi-chan." At first it makes no sense to him. He even wonders how she can speak with her cheeks puffed like that, but once he gets it, he nods and greets her in, calling her Shi-chan. But the moment Takuya says Shi-chan, the entire class suddenly panics. Everyone turns to stare at him in shock. Sitting back in his seat, he wonders why they're all reacting so intensely. Then he hears Sagusa-san calmly return the greeting, calling him Tak-kun. The moment her mouth pronounces that nickname, the class's reaction grows even more stunned. At this point, Takuya is 40% confused, 60% flustered, and 100% helpless. The class crowds around them, and Takuya figures the nickname Tak-kun was just for Sunday. Then she casually mentions she had fun and wants to go again. When he agrees, the entire class erupts into even more panicked whispers. Standing nearby, Shimizu overhears everything and smiles. Meanwhile, Takuya realizes that the whole Shi-chan and Tak-kun thing has made him the center of class rumors. Boys seem jealous, but the girls' attention feels different. As he's lost in thought, Saigusa and Shimizu-san approach with her lunchbox and ask if they can eat together today. Both Takuya and Takayuki agree, and Takuya can't help but think he's sitting with the class's most beautiful girls, while everyone around them takes notice. But he also notices that she doesn't seem to care about what others think anymore. She tells him it's been a while since she had lunch with friends, so she's really happy. Takuya believes that if they're enjoying lunch together, then there's no need to worry about anyone else. As they begin eating, Sagusa-san remarks that there's something she's been wanting to try for a while. Curious, Takuya asks what it is. She explains she wants to eat hamburgers after school with her friends, and enjoy it all while reading manga together. After class, while heading outside, Takuya notices Saigusa-san is trying hard to change her vibe. A group of girls passing by asks if she's the former leader of the Angel Girl group. She calmly denies it, and Takuya is left genuinely surprised. The rest of the group starts laughing, saying Sagusa-san doesn't even know how to act cool. Frustrated, she thinks she should just wear a sign on her back that says she's not Shion from Angel Girls. After all the teasing, they finally reach the hamburger shop. As soon as they enter the shop, Sagusa-san lights up at the sight of the menu and freezes with excitement. Meanwhile, the others are still deciding what to order. Takuya glances at her and asks what she wants to eat. She rushes to the counter, blushing and confused by the menu. She asks Takuya for help, and he steps in. With his support, the group's order is finally confirmed and they start eating. Before munching, Saigusa-san tries to take a rumored famous hamburger picture and sends it to the group, but she's so nervous and jittery that the photo turns out blurry. She tries to take a cute food pic, but ends up capturing the ceiling in half her own hair. The group laughs a little, and as evening falls, everyone heads home. As Takuya gets ready for bed, he sees a message from Saigusa-san in the group chat, saying she really enjoyed everyone's company and feels happy. Wanting to respond before sleeping, Takuya thinks it's a good chance to leave a reply that everyone sees. As he starts thinking about Saigusa-san, he realizes she's someone who never hesitates to pull people into her world. Just then, he gets a personal message from her, asking if she can call. Her call comes through, and the first thing she does is apologize for bothering him this late. They start talking, and Takuya admits he's feeling nervous. When she asks why, he confesses that he doesn't think he's even worthy of talking to her, that there are plenty of people better than him, and her standards must be way too high. But she gently assures him that's not true at all. There's no way he's lower than her. As she begins to explain why she said that, Takuya's curiosity spikes, wondering what she's about to reveal. But suddenly embarrassed, she quickly ends the call with a soft goodnight. Blushing, he stays lost in thought, trying to figure out why she got so flustered so fast. Just then, a message pops up, a picture she sent. It's a group photo of the four of them eating together. Takuya smiles warmly, appreciating how she captured the moment. Then she sends another photo, this one with a heart filter over their faces and the caption, "We're together." He likes it so much, he saves it not once, but 3 times. After school, Takuya sits in class thinking he should hurry home and start studying. Just then, Sagusa-san walks up to him, full of energy, and tells him they should form a study group together. She repeats it so fast it sounds like a spell. Takuya briefly considers whether he's been enchanted. A little later, she brings the three of them to the library and announces that they'll study together as a group. Takuya suggests starting with Sagusa-san's revision, knowing she's highly talented. He also feels her level is far beyond that of their high school. As they begin studying, Takuya starts to feel like she might see him as a rival. He notices the others quietly working while he and Sagusa-san solve the same question. Just as he's about to ask, she explains the formula first. Takuya is surprised by her instant reply, but also believes she's acting unusually weird around him, though to him it's kind of cute and shy. He finds himself watching her odd poses for a while. As their study session wraps up, they exchange thanks, each appreciating the time spent together. They're all happy with how much they accomplished, and Sagusa-san joins in their excitement. However, everyone can't help but notice her panicked, awkward behavior. Blushing with embarrassment, she shyly suggests holding another study session on Saturday. Only Takuya agrees. With the others declining, he realizes it'll be just the two of them studying together. True to schedule, he meets Sagusa-san on Saturday to help her revise. Out of nowhere, she approaches from behind, calling his name. Turning around, Takuya is struck by her more mature aura today. Standing before such a striking classmate, he feels a flutter of nervousness. Her energy is infectious as she urges him to dive into studying. Sitting side by side in the library, he can't shake the feeling that wherever they go, they somehow become the center of attention. Just then, Sagusa-san leans in and whispers that she feels like people are watching them. Takuya shares the same feeling but reminds her to focus on studying, the real reason they're here. They dive into their work, with her guiding Takun through some tough problems. Grateful, he compliments her, and admits he's been relying on her a lot lately, wanting to show his appreciation. She brushes it off effortlessly, and afterward, they head to a nearby snack shop. At this point, they could walk into a cave and still draw a crowd. He treats her to pancakes, and her face lights up with delight after the first bite. He recalls seeing her often choose sweet snacks at the store and figured this would be a hit. She beams, mentioning it's her first time trying. Watching her, Takuya feels as if he's witnessing an angel enjoying a simple pleasure. Warm gratitude shines in her eyes as she thanks him for bringing her along. As she sips her coffee with a smile, she catches Takuya's attention and tells him she wants to come here again. He agrees, saying they'll visit again sometime. Suddenly, she lowers her head and quietly asks him to please take care of her. Takuya isn't sure if she means emotionally, academically, or financially, but he's nodding anyway. He is caught off guard by her sudden, almost suspicious reaction, wondering why she's acting this way. Later that night, lying in bed, he thinks about how much he enjoyed the day. Just then, Saigusa-san messages him, a sticker showing a successful candid shot. She sends it so fast you'd think someone yelled, "Final sale" and "Summer discount" at once. Takuya is surprised when he sees the sticker but saves it instantly. The next day, Sunday, he sees Sagusa-san walk into the convenience store again, showing up in her usual suspicious fashion. She heads straight to the magazines, and Takuya wonders what she even finds interesting in those local issues. A little later, she picks up a few products and brings them to the counter. Takuya notices all her items are cafe-related, hinting at some unusual plan. As he reads out the total, she pays quickly as usual, but freezes mid-reach while taking the change. He wonders what happened, then sees she's staring at his missing bracelet. He realizes he forgot to wear it in a rush today. Trying to ease the moment, he mentions Shion stickers online, which he downloaded and recommends to customers. Hearing this, she lights up with joy, promises to download them too, and dashes out of the store. Takuya remains at the counter, unsure whether to feel flattered by her behavior or mildly alarmed. Thanks to her initiative with the study group, they spend several days tackling homework together, making steady progress. Evenings are spent hanging out in quieter spots, since being seen in public with Sagusa-san tends to draw too much attention. Shimizu occasionally joins them and seems to genuinely enjoy the time. Takuya recalls the rumors from his old school, how Shimizu was regarded as one of the most beautiful girls around, known for politely turning down nearly every confession. That reputation earned her the nickname Solitary Princess. During one of their sessions, Shimizu becomes part of their rhythm effortlessly. At lunch, Sagusa-san casually wipes her mouth and points out a stray grain of rice clinging to Shimizu's cheek. Watching the moment, Takuya realizes it's her natural warmth that's making Shimizu feel so at ease. Later, on the walk home, Shimizu calls out to Takuya. He pauses, curious. There's something she's been holding back for a while. They head to a nearby cafe. For a fleeting moment, Takuya finds himself thinking how both girls, Shimizu and Sagusa-san, could easily be considered the most beautiful in their year. Shaking the thought away, he turns his attention back as Shimizu hesitates, then brings up a topic that, surprisingly, seems to revolve around him. His curiosity grows as he waits for Shimizu to speak. After a brief pause, she looks up and asks directly, "Does Takayuki have a girlfriend?" Caught a little off guard, Takuya responds that he thinks Takayuki used to, a long time ago. The moment the words leave his mouth, he notices her expression subtly shift, something quiet and disappointed settling across her face. She then asks, more softly this time, whether that girlfriend is still in the picture. Takuya explains it was way back in elementary school, and that Takayuki's been too busy ever since. Watching her reaction, so honest, so unguarded, he feels a surprising flicker of jealousy toward his friend. Wanting to be supportive, he offers to help if she ever needs it. But Shimizu quickly clarifies that she hadn't planned on asking for advice. It's just that this feeling is new to her, and she's unsure how to handle it. Even without her saying it outright, Takuya can see the truth written all over her. She's completely smitten. He assures her that she can always count on him, no matter what. Her face brightens with a soft smile, and Takuya quietly resolves to be there for her, especially since this involves someone he cares about too. For a moment, he even feels a little like a real Cupid. Just then, movement near the entrance catches Shimizu's eye. Saigusa-san has stepped into the cafe, and her expression says it all, like she's stumbled into a plot twist she didn't audition for. She approaches, her gaze flicking between the two of them. "What's going on here?" she asks, trying to keep her voice casual but clearly suspicious. Takuya's heart skips. He instantly realizes how this must look. Two classmates alone in a cafe, deep in conversation. It screams secret meeting, and he's not sure how to defuse it fast enough. Before he can utter a word, Shimizu steps in, explaining that she simply came for some advice. That doesn't seem to help much, until Saigusa-san raises an eyebrow and asks, "What kind of advice?" Flushed and fidgeting, Shimizu lowers her eyes and admits, almost in a whisper, "It's about love."
Here I am, know it's been a while.